Hey guys, welcome to For the Classical Guitarist. My name is John, and in today's video I want to talk to you about amplification options for classical guitar. So as many of you guys know, the classical guitar is not the loudest instrument. This is because there's only 6 strings and they're made out of nylon. And even when they're all played at their harshest, it doesn't even come close to the volume of other instruments when played at their loudest. Now, in a small concert hall for solo guitar or a guitar with maybe one other instrument, this isn't going to be a big deal. However, if you're playing outside or if you're playing with a group of instruments, the sound of the guitar is going to be drowned out pretty quickly. So I'm going to give a few examples of different things that you can do. First, I'm going to explain and give some pros and cons to each of them, and then later on in the video, I'm going to give you my personal recommendation for each of these examples. If you're interested in checking out any of these products yourself, all of the links will be posted in the description below. So the first way I'm going to talk about is the best way to maintain the sound of your guitar just at a louder volume. This is going to be using an external microphone on your guitar. This way is great, and it's probably going to be the most common thing you're going to see when you see a guitarist playing along with a string quartet or any other large ensemble. The one downside to this is that there is more equipment that is needed. You're going to need a microphone, mic stand, microphone cable, and a speaker of some kind. You're also going to need an adequate amount of space, making sure that the microphone and the speaker aren't too close to each other, which would create some unwanted feedback. The next one that I want to talk about is installing or having somebody else install a pickup inside of your guitar. Now, when going this route, you have a few different options. You could have a piezo pickup which is installed underneath the saddle of the guitar. You could have the soundboard transducers which are glued underneath the soundboard, or you could have a microphone built inside of the guitar. All of these ways will work, but they also will all have some problems as well. Of course, the microphone is going to have the best sound quality of the guitar. However, because it is a microphone and it's inside of the guitar, it's definitely going to be more prone to feedback than the rest. The soundboard transducers can work great, but oftentimes their output isn't all that loud. And the piezo pickup, even though it has a high output, the sound quality is not that great, as since it's coming from the saddle, it's going to have a very bright and tinny nasally sound to it. Because of this, I would recommend to plug your guitar into an external preamp before going into the amplifier. This way, for the microphone, you can dial out some frequencies that might be creating feedback. You can boost the signal for the soundboard transducer, or you can dial in some EQ to get a slightly better sound for the piezo pickup. If possible, I would recommend to find a pickup that includes both the microphone and the soundboard transducer or the piezo pickup. This way you can blend the two and get the louder signal from those as well as maintaining the sound of your guitar from the microphone. You should know though that for all of these options, you're going to have to drill a hole in the body of your guitar to allow room for the end pin jack to go, so that way you can plug your 1/4" cable into the guitar. There are pickups that you don't need to do any drilling in order to use them. However, in my experience, these pickups oftentimes don't sound that great and oftentimes aren't all that loud. If the idea of drilling a hole into your precious guitar scares you, the next recommendation I would say to do is buy a guitar that already has one built in. Not only is it a lot easier because it already has the pickup built in, but oftentimes it has a decent preamp built into the guitar as well. Even though the guitar itself isn't going to be as nice as your favorite concert guitar, it's going to save you a lot of hassle in certain situations, because all you need is the guitar, a cable, and a speaker. Just like the option before, there's going to be a few choices when it comes to the kind of pickup that you want. I would recommend to find one that has the blend of a microphone alongside with either the piezo or the soundboard transducers, and make sure that the guitar has a good preamp on it. These guitars might still have some feedback issues, but they should be a lot less as long as you know how to use the preamp on the guitar and dial in the EQ on your amplifier or speaker. The last of these options that I want to talk about is going to be a solid body classical guitar. In my experience, these ones tend to have the least amount of issues with feedback, just because there isn't an acoustic body that the sound can resonate throughout. However, even with all these tones, because of the lack of the acoustic body, it's probably going to sound the furthest from the sound of an actual acoustic instrument. If you're only used to playing on a traditional classical guitar, this might not be the best choice for you, because the body is a lot thinner and it's going to force you to hold the guitar a little bit differently than you're used to. So as you notice, for all these options, you're going to need an amp or a speaker of some kind anyway. So when it comes to recommendations, I want to start with that. The first one that I want to recommend is the Fishman Loudbox. This is a great amp because it's specifically meant for acoustic instruments, so it has a great EQ as well as some built-in effects. Not only can you plug your guitar in, but it also has inputs for XLR in case you want to use it for your microphones as well. Depending on which model you end up getting, this amp is going to be plenty loud for almost any situation. The next one that I want to recommend is the Roland Cube Street X. This one also has inputs for instruments as well as XLR cables, but what I like about this one is that the microphone channel on it is actually pretty dry, so it gives you a very accurate representation of how your guitar actually sounds. The other great thing about this is that it has the ability to run on batteries for 8 hours. This is great if you have a gig outside or if you have a gig inside and you don't know if you're going to be positioned by an electric outlet or not. Finally, the last one I want to recommend is the QSC CP8. This is a great small speaker that pumps out tons of volume. The only downside to it is that because it's just a speaker, you're going to want to have a preamp or a mixer for it to dial in some EQ. When it comes to preamps, I would highly recommend the Bags Venue. This one has a great EQ on it as well as ways to cut out certain frequencies that you don't want. It also has a chromatic tuner that functions as a mute button, so that way nobody has to hear you tune between songs. When it comes to solid body nylon string guitars, number 1 on my list is going to be the Godin Multiac Grand Concert Duet Ambience. This guitar is going to give you a wide range of tones as well as maintain the feeling of playing a traditional classical guitar because the neck is profiled the exact same way as a standard classical guitar. But if you want a full-bodied classical guitar with a built-in pickup, my recommendation is going to be the Cordoba GK Studio or GK Pro. As far as the quality of the guitar itself goes, both of these guitars are actually pretty good. But what's even better is the pickup that both of these guitars come with. On these, you'll be able to choose your own blend of the piezo and the built-in microphone, all from the preamp that's built inside of the guitar. If you're looking to have a pickup installed in a nicer guitar of yours, the one that I would recommend would be the K&K Sound Trinity Pure Classic Pro. This one is great because it allows you to blend the soundboard transducers with an internal microphone, therefore giving you the best possible representation of your guitar's sound. Of course, like I mentioned before, you're going to want to use this alongside of a good preamp, such as the Bags. Finally, when it comes to selecting a microphone for your guitar, you're going to want something that sounds good, is sturdy, and doesn't break the bank. Because of this, I would recommend the classic Shure SM57. I've had mine for quite a while, and it still works great, and it sounds great too. So that's all for this week's video. If you guys have any questions or if you feel like I missed anything, feel free to leave it in the comments section below. And if you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel as well as checking me out on other social media sites linked in the description below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.